Just another manic Monday.
I'm reminded of the other Bill Burr favorite. Bill Burr. I mean, Nate Bargatze favorite, where the school calls him at home and asks him a question. He says, "You have my wife's phone number, and you called me." He's like, "I'm not. I don't even know the name of the school she goes to. You know, you'd have better luck asking a random woman on the street. She could probably get to the top of this more quickly than I could." You know, that kind of thing. It's yep. Being a father's the best.
Really
Anyhow.
Paul, I did some surgery this weekend.
I know. I saw. This is really exciting.
Is it?
It is because, well, I'm sorry you had to do it, but like, this is a really good example of this kind of inherent skill that you have that I just lack, you know?
So
it's neat.
Hopefully, well, if you're on the audio, then this won't make any sense. I only put one picture, but.
Well, look at the size of that thing, dude.
Yeah.
Anyways. Sorry. Yep.
So what I did, which this is actually not a great picture to even showcase this, is the power supply died. So the power supply...
Well, I mean, how did you determine that?
Guessed. Well, the thing just stopped turning on.
Yeah. So you hit the button, nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing happened. So somewhere, my guess was power supply. So I bought it on Amazon because you can return it if this wasn't the issue.
So you bought a replacement power supply. So this is an internal part for an Xbox Series, whatever. Yeah.
Which... if you see that black band, which is on the very front of the heat sink, and you follow it up to like where it like goes behind the box, like that silver box at the top there, that is the power supply that I had to take off.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I was tweeting the whole thing because I was bored and whatever.
I mean, by the way, just sorry to interrupt, but if you factor in the thickness of it compared to the thickness of the main case, that heat sink is possibly 2/3 the size of the rest of it.
The width.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, not including the power supply. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a behemoth. So took the whole thing apart. Really, if you have the ability to build, it was slightly harder than just building a PC, because you think about it. I mean, it is just a PC. The only reason I say it's slightly is because it's real small form factor. So.
Yeah,
like getting some of the ribbons off and other things was a little challenging. But now that I've done it,
I mean, I looked at you had a multi-step thing on Threads.
Yep.
And I read through the whole thing. I watched the end. I'm not trying to cut to the chase here, but were there any like adhesive tape type situations you had to deal with, or
not really? The only adhesive that was an issue is actually to get into the box. You have to peel these stickers, like
that kind of void your warranty. Those stickers, like they're not. In other words, they're not
void your warranty.
They're not structural stickers.
No,
you know what I mean. Like they're not. Yeah. Okay.
So like I peeled those back, and my thing's out of warranty. I mean, how 4 years old at this point? Like,
yeah. I know it's hard to even believe that, right? But yeah.
So then it's just you need what was it, like T8 is the torque screw, I think.
The torque screw, yeah. So it's not completely non-standard, but not the type of thing most people would have in their house. Maybe. Oh well, I mean something.
I mean T8's not that uncommon. The problem is that my T8, some of these things are torqued pretty hard. So my little sunglass T8.
Yeah, right. You can't get the leverage to.
Yeah.
You almost need like a T-piece that you can use to kind of
so I just went and bought a little bit, and then have a ratcheting screwdriver handle, and then it really wasn't that bad, but more of the why do I gotta do this anyways, but sort of thing.
Well, but you did it, and you replaced it, and you put the thing back together, and
it booted.
It works fine, right? Yeah. How long's it been down?
Like a week.
Oh, that's not bad. I thought maybe you were sitting on this thing for a while. So yeah, mine would have been there for 6 months, and then I would have used it as a flower pot or something. I don't know. Oh boy. Anyway, good for you. That's great.
Yeah, if it didn't work, then it was going to turn into an Office Space thing, and I was going to beat it in the backyard with a baseball bat.
Yeah, to a rap song. What was the? How much did the power supply cost?
It's like $80.
Yeah. Okay.
No, not cheap, but a lot less than $500 for a new console.
Sending the damn thing in and seeing. I mean, can you only imagine?
Somebody told me on, I think it was Twitter or whatever, the sites, they had to send theirs in. It was like $300 to get the South Bridge fixed.
Yeah, it's like, well, I'll just buy a new one. Jeez. I mean, at that point, like, probably just buy an S, frankly, and put up with
I mean, really, the S is just That's probably what I would have done. I already have an S, so I guess.
It's basically just GPU, isn't it? I think.
Yeah. So if you're
Right.
planning to
Well,
run at 1080p,
storage. Yep.
like just get.
Yeah, I don't know if you've watched how this console generation has fallen out, but there's not a lot of a lot of high end, high FPS anything. I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunately, but oh well.
Yeah. Anyway, so how is? I love these branding names.
Mhm.
ThinkBook Plus Gen 5 Hybrid.
I know. It's worse. I mean, the full name is even worse. It has some stupid, hybrid station, something. So, generally speaking, right? I review a lot of laptops. I can do like a first impressions thing. I kind of put it in a queue. It's not worth going into too much detail about how I go through these things as I work on them, but I do have like a schedule and whatever. And so one of the things that's coming up is we're going to Mexico at the end of the month. Well, Dallas and then Mexico, but so I spent, my wife was away this weekend. I spent the whole weekend working, but also going through every single computer I have. I have a stack of 8 boxes out on the dining room table. I'm going to of things I'm shipping back to companies because I reviewed them this year and haven't done that yet. And it's been busy, right? So anyway, I've got a couple I'd like to finalize before we go to Mexico. I know I've got at least one big one, like the that HP AI PC thing, the one with the Ryzen inside. That's going to happen sometime soon. I can't wait to see that. But this will be the other one I bring to Mexico. So I generally, you open a laptop, you get it. Like you're like, okay, laptop, blah, 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 whatever parts, I get it. Here's some pictures. Oh, there's usually nothing surprising. This one, I opened it up and I was like, well, first it came in like a box the size of a Volkswagen. And I'm like, what's happening in here? And there's multi boxes inside of it. And it's like, this is complex. And this is the trick with any modern hybrid experimental computer, like all the folding display computers were like this. The Lenovo 9, I think a 9, the Yoga 9i or whatever it was, with the 2 screens.
Yep.
It's complex. And this is the most complex of all, right? Because it's like Surface Book in that the screen comes up on and off the pegs or whatever. And the computer's in the base, but there's also a computer in the top because it's an Android tablet. And there's a lot of duplication of componentry because each one has its own Wi-Fi, each one has its own Bluetooth, each one has its own whatever, RAM, storage, everything, right? So the thing in the top is like a Snapdragon 8C whatever with whatever, and it's got a good amount of RAM, and it's got UFS, I think 3.1 storage, whatever. And then the thing on the bottom is a Meteor Lake, pretty powerful PCI. It's probably 16 gigs of storage, like a terabyte of SSD, blah, 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 whatever. And then they interact in these really interesting ways. But there's like software interactions because you actually pair them and then use Lenovo software to do things like transfer files back and forth. And you can run the Android environment in a software window, in Windows. So you can have it like side by side if you want. You can use it just as an Android tab or laptop if you want, right? Which is kind of bizarre. Obviously it pops off and use like a real tablet, but then it has all these, the station part is, it actually comes with a metal triangular stand, which I didn't do a good job of taking pictures of, but it looks like an easel. I think they call it something easel. You can rest the screen on that and then use the keyboard base like a keyboard and a touchpad. Okay. But you can also connect like an external, like a big display. So you can have like this 2 screen, everything disconnected. It's like, what the frick is going on? So I realized when I unboxed it, like, I'm not gonna be able to do this thing justice. Like, it's just too much going on here. I still, to this moment, have not signed in to it with my Microsoft account. Like, I just did it through the thing that Lenovo gave, whatever Lenovo account. So I have to still do that. But again, I'm looking at the schedule and it's like, I'm good. We're going to be in Mexico for like 6 weeks. So this is going to be like a Mexico problem. So, except that I have to get it ready before then too. So I'm going to bring it.
What's the retail price on this thing?
Oof, it's not good. I believe it's about $3,500. It's north of 3. It's like 32, 35, somewhere there. And there's no low end config. There's no any config. I think it's just this. Well, I could be wrong about that, but the one I got is very specific, and it's a lot of money. So this is the dream, right? This is the hybrid device, that one device that does it all, is like a, we keep trying. I give them credit for it. I have to say, I think an Apple version of this would be of more interest to people, because
Right. The
Apple, right?
same.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's a really big tablet. It's a really awkward tablet in portrait because it's 16 by 10, but it is a very powerful tablet. It's a good computer, like a good to very good computer, right? As far as the specs. I guess it's like Surface Book, except that if you took it off as an Android tablet, so not everything is in the screen like on Surface Book. Um, I don't know. I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think you can actually use the tablet battery to enhance the battery of the bottom, but I actually don't know that. That would be kind of interesting because they both have their own batteries too. I should mention that. I don't know, man. It's weird. Like it's a lot of stuff.
You know what? I
Yeah.
applaud Lenovo for at least trying. Like,
Same.
right?
Yep.
Lenovo's far from perfect, but they always come out with these crazy concepts,
Yep.
and they just throw things at the wall and see if they stick.
I don't know how they picked ThinkBook for this, but
Hmm.
there's been a product called ThinkBook Plus for several years now, and they've done versions where they had an e-ink screen on the outside of the laptop lid. Yeah. They had a version, remember, with the little 8-inch tablet looking screen on the wrist rest.
Hmm.
Eh, you know, this is the one where I'm like, you know what? Actually, there's something here. Like, this is interesting. Um,
Do they share storage? Like, can you access documents from one to the
Yeah,
other?
and you can. They actually have their own storage each, but yes, you can. And that part I did just start playing with. You
Hmm.
can access the entire storage of the Android device, drag and drop between them. But they also do like some things to make it a little simpler. So you can have like you would have in a virtual machine. So you have some like a Parallels does this on the Mac with Windows. Like you have some folders in the file system that are just different things in each system or whatever. So
Hmm.
if you place something there and go to the other environment, it's just there. So they do that as well. But this is the trick with this kind of. It's always like this. It's the complexity of it is the price, but I mean as far as technical, the stumbling block is the complexity. There's a
Yeah.
lot to it, but yeah, it's like I said, I there's early folding screen PCs. You kind of look at me like, "Ugh," I'm like, not quite. The HP one, the most recent one, I think was that the most recent one? Whatever the most recent one was, I tried. I was like, you know what? It's almost there, but you still have the weirdness of like, all this like.
Yeah.
It's really nice having the big screen, but it's like a little complex. There's something in there,
Yeah.
if you will.
Well,
The germ of an idea, the concept of a plan, as we say. Uh, so I don't know.
it does kind of make you wonder if the Snapdragon experience as a whole would make a better Surface Book 3 these days, right?
Yep.
So it's
Right. Right. If you
bring
could
back that
somehow, yeah,
form
have the,
factor and
yep. I mean, Snap or Qualcomm has done the work to enable Linux on those computers, just on laptops. But obviously, soon we're switching to this sort of system for the phone. Is there a version of this where you could share the processor, storage, RAM, and have I'm sorry, an Android environment standalone on a tablet? Maybe.
we'll see.
It's getting
I don't know.
weird. Yeah, it's like throwing everything in a blender and seeing what it looks like at the end. It's usually just kind of a weird brown color, but
Speaking of blenders, this was part of the tool set that I needed. It's called
yeah,
I think it's a Spludger.
I need that right now. I have a little splinter thing in the side of my fingernail that's driving me crazy. I did right before you called in. I jammed myself on a basket.